Plated Traditions Channel. Welcome to the Plated Traditions Channel with your host Kendra Moses. This is the Plated Traditions.
Hello, and welcome to the Plated Traditions Channel. My name is Kendra Moses, and as always, we have our resident Chef Kai off camera. Now, this week continues our holiday season. We're getting ever so closer to 3 more major holidays known around the world. However, we're not going to spend today discussing any of those holidays, but this week we'll have a more fair discussion instead of allowing too much time focused on one of those major holidays versus the others. I thought in the interest of fairness, we would just kind of leave that part out of our main discussion for today to talk about something that no one really wants to hear during the holiday season, especially when these holidays are typically so rich and has so much food related in their celebrations. So today we're going to talk about the word diet. Yes, a nice cheery word like that. I picked that word because I thought it'd be a nice way to revisit and continue on our discussion about the language of cooking. So I've gone past that portion. It's just that we're not done with that portion. Throughout the course, I will intend on discussing new and different vocabulary throughout this course. I just wanted to take the focus off of just pure terminology. When I was a child growing up, the word diet had a deeper focus on the way that you eat, just in general. It had nothing to do with any health concerns or any aesthetic concerns. And I realized that these things have a tendency to overlap if you're asking someone, what's your diet? But in the most general terms, the word diet meant how do you particularly eat on a day-to-day basis? What does your diet typically compose of? When you ask someone their diet, it seems like such a general, unassuming question, but is something that will have a wide array of answers. As a general diet is something that's basically, I guess, unhinged, is something that isn't necessarily restrictive. It's a way that you particularly like to eat. And we have billions of people on this earth. And yes, quite a few of us eat similarly. But to ask each and every one of us our diet, as we were used to be asked during my time when I was first introduced to the word, what is your diet? It had a different answer basically for each and every person, at least in that one room. Everyone had a different answer about how they particularly eat on a day-to-day basis and what they particularly eat on a day-to-day basis. And this has nothing to do with a holiday season. It has nothing to do with anything besides personal preference. What do you particularly live off of, and what do you particularly go to as a need or source of nourishment? Then, as I started growing up, the word diet took a bit of a change. Now we're entering an age where people are more health conscious, have more body image discussions, and people are typically perceived based on things like aesthetics. So we started to see an increase of dieting programs. And when that increase of diets and programs came along, I noticed that the definition for the word diets started to go more to that direction. Talking about the focus on the human figure, physical form, not basically what you have a taste for or a preference for, but we're talking about preference has now changed basically from wanting to experience food however you used to experience to saying that I want to be able to be viewed in a different form of light as far as my physical form and body. And so now I'm going to change my diet by going on a diet. I am about to change my way of eating. Now I'll succumb to a different way of eating that I will now follow in order to achieve a different physique. My point of view in regards to when I was paying attention to the words being structured or having definitions added to it, but is to hear more about diet in the form of this is the diet you need to be on in order to better your health. Now, the word diet for weight loss and physical aesthetics and the word diet for medical changes, they kind of had an overlap in regards to how I was being introduced to it from the mainstream, because one was really focused, of course, because that's how advertisement gets out and everything else. You're focused on the perfection of the human body, the aesthetics of the human body, like we do the aesthetics for anything else. Again, something that's not surprising, as we discussed a little bit last week, that's what gives things like traditions so stressful and wound up. Because no matter what we do in this world, we want to show everything in a certain level of perceived perfection. And that's where hiccups started to come along with anything. So last we were talking about traditions. The term of diet, we're talking about the perfection of the physical body, in which we change the way we eat in order to achieve that. I just see the overlap with that type of use of the word diet and the medical use of the word diet, as I guess that it was more concern during that particular time period about what food is doing to the human body differs from the way that you look. Talk about the word diet in the form of changing the way that you eat, irregardless of your feeling about the food, irregardless about your preference about the food. But we're talking about changing the way that you eat as you have to, because the things that you used to like are no longer beneficial as your body is going through changes or have always been having some sort of area of detriment every time you eat a particular type of food. The word diet becomes a interesting thing, because 1 minute is something that you're doing for life's sake. You're eating to live, and you're eating for even your possible enjoyment. And then as the word started to age, you're thinking about you're eating for more so a physical prowess. And then maybe throughout your time, you're eating cautiously. And the caution has everything to do with life and health. The one thing that you thought you could go to is supposed to be automatically beneficial, and I only had one definition: life. Now, aged into a point in time where you're having to look at it from a point of view of, what will happen if I eat this? You were doing that vaguely when it comes to how old was the food that you're eating, how was it preserved, or things of that nature. Now, I realize food allergies aren't something that are brand spanking new, but it seems like there has been quite a lot more of occasions where you're hearing of people having particular food intolerances and food allergies. Discussing the word diet when I was coming up as a child, the answers varied. It wasn't a omnivore, carnivore, herbivore type of answer. It was a way that people eat type of answer, particularly eat on a day-to-day basis, and it varied widely. We're thinking about that same word diet varying widely because of health concerns now, or because of other physical concerns. It's no longer a deep focus on, well, this is my favorite food, or these are my favorite foods. Being as the holiday season, and the holiday season is full with food and eating. That's basically almost everyone's translation when it comes to the holiday season. It's a time to be merry and enjoy food, and just really not to try to think about too much of anything. Food is usually main and center, is the focus of pretty much every holiday, of almost pretty much every tradition. But I don't want you to see this discussion this week as being too much like a Scrooge or Krampus moment. I want you all to enjoy your plated traditions and your holidays in the best way possible, just also the safest way possible at that. And I just thought that the word diet would be a great way to continue our journey for the language of cooking and the meaning of food as it relates to how we live in our day-to-day lives. Also, with the anticipation of so many people typically making their New Year resolutions around that word as well. So I think it's the best way to have full inclusion for all the holidays that are still pending in this year's holiday season. But no matter how you eat or why you eat, whatever your diet is, Play Traditions hopes that you and your loved ones have a very happy holiday season. Please stay tuned for a special Play Traditions holiday presentation with movie feature and music premiere to follow. Enjoy. Whether we notice it or not, one candle at a time, we all seemingly bring light to our holidays, with each small flame gaining the power to allow many traditions to shine brightly. I long ago noticed that without practice, I utterly adore the foods of varying holidays, such as Hanukkah's mandelbread, sofganiyot, latkes, pomegranates, babkas, challah bread. As we strive to celebrate in our own way throughout the holiday seasons, we must know that to be fed is divine and food is delight. I hope this year you all have had or will have a happy Diwali, Kwanzaa, Eid Mubarak, Kung Shemek, Merry Christmas, and an overall happy holiday season from Play Traditions.
Traditions music. Traditions music mix. They're shimmering, they're glowing, them holiday lights. They're shimmering, they're glowing, them holiday lights. is outpouring, the flames are all glowing. It's all about knowing that peace should be growing. It's the one thing we share, and important to take care. That feeling, that despair, should never feel as rare. Think, prepare, whatever holiday's here. No matter where or is near, when that light's on spark, keep it close to your heart. Let it lead you out the door. Begins to guard the simple wisdom of our kingdom. Take the flames and save those embers, leading all of us to remember that without the holiday lights, our world would be so much dimmer. So no matter the rendition, this is the plated tradition. Note the crowd, the holidays, pay attention. Gather close and please listen. That no matter your distinction, when your holiday lights are glistening, like a holiday, remove the question. It's one world, we're all in session. And with any second guessing, sit down and play traditions.
Thank you again for joining us for another week. We hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.